Once again, you are watching College Football Daily. I'm your host, Jordan Giorgio, alongside James Yoder and Tom Downey. Guys, you ready to get into our Alabama hot board for offensive coordinator?
Let's do it. Remember, they're looking for a new guy, and it's Alabama. What better spot to go than Alabama if you're looking to be an OC?
Looking for an O coordinator, looking for a D coordinator, a lot of turnover in Nick Saban's staff. It's going to be interesting with the best team coming back next year. If he still has it at 4 or 5 years old, if he can do that staff turnover a couple years, keep that bad boy rolling. It looks like he can from what he's done over the last decade for sure.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into some potential candidates. First up, we've got Rick Neuheisel. Sorry.
We're throwing the phonetic spelling there in the rundown. But so Rick Neuheisel, friend of the program. Tom interviewed him. I believe it was Cam.
It was Cam Rogers.
But you talked to him. So
I did talk to Rick.
Came on College Football Daily just last week in Atlanta. We should have asked him about this, but we didn't. Gosh, what were we thinking?
The Arizona stuff came out afterward because there was a report that he was looking to maybe go be the Arizona head coach. And I'm thinking, look, if Rick wants to be a head coach again, go be the Alabama OC and kind of get that great launch point.
Yeah, he hasn't coached in 6 years. Can you believe that, Tom? So he got fired from UCLA, I believe was his last job. So I think it'd be an interesting one. He was a really strong offensive mind. Under Colorado as an offensive coordinator back about 20 years ago or so. Then he got that job, went to Washington, was out of the game for a couple years in UCLA. I think he's been out of the game for a little too long. He's got his media gigs. I don't think this one makes much sense at all. So I doubt this one happens. That's kind of why he's towards the end of the list for us.
All right, guys. Well, our next candidate that could become the new offensive coordinator at Alabama, we got Dan Enos, Michigan's wide receiver.
Well, we talked about this in the Michigan football rapid rumors roundup. I called it, I think I did a 1 Harbaugh had. Maybe it was a 2 as the people are talking. I think it was a 1. That 24/7 Sports put him on their initial list, and he does have a relationship with Nick Saban. He was a quarterback at Michigan State when Saban was an assistant coach back in the 80s. His mentor Mark Antonio is kind of Saban's protege back in the day, and he just spent a 3-year stint in the SEC. Knows the offense of the SEC, but I don't think Dan Enos is going to spurn Jim Harbaugh after 1 week on the job. So I doubt he gets a look, but I wouldn't blame him if he took the job. That's for sure.
All right, guys. Next up on our potential candidates to go to Alabama as the next offensive coordinator, we got Hugh Freeze. We talked about this earlier, former Ole Miss head coach, Tom.
It kind of seems like Alabama's going to go in a different direction, but I wouldn't be all that surprised if you see Hugh Freeze take the old Alabama offensive analyst position and just kind of hang out for a year, do some stuff for Saban, and kind of rehab his stock. Because right now, Hugh Freeze, for most teams, is kind of like, you can't touch him because of the Ole Miss debacle. But you go to Alabama, it's like, all right, you're cool because we are coaching Rehab Central.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great fit for Hugh. You could see him taking this job for 2 years, maybe doing, who was more toxic, Lane Kiffin or Hugh Freeze when they took the job? It's tough to say, actually. I think Lane, from a PR, there's a guy perspective, Lane Kiffin, he's a program killer. Hugh Freeze for other reasons, but I think they could have the similar impact. I would not put it past Nick Saban to make this hire. Just go out and get the best guy. Get the best guy for the job, a guy who knows the SEC, and whether he's paying straight cash homie or not, proven himself to be a great recruiter as well.
All right, next up, you guys, we got Dan Werner, South Carolina's quarterback coach.
He was an assistant for Alabama. He was in that offensive analyst position, and then he took the South Carolina quarterback's job. So Werner makes some sense, but I think he took the South Carolina QB's job knowing that the Alabama OC position was going to be open, and he wasn't going to get it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it. He wouldn't have jumped. You would have talked to Saban for at least a couple minutes and said, do I have any chance of getting this job?
He could have waited, too.
Yeah, he definitely could have waited. So I don't think he's likely, but for some reason, if a few of these other guys turn him down or they take other jobs, you could see him potentially, but I highly doubt it. He will get a look.
Next up, we got Matt Canada, former LSU's offensive coordinator.
I'm still kind of confused why LSU dumped Matt Canada. When he was with Pitt, he was the coordinator that everybody wanted. LSU got him, and I think he and Orgeron never got along. I think Orgeron felt like Canada had been pushed upon him, and Orgeron ended up winning. I think if you get a guy like Matt Canada as your OC, put him with Alabama and put him with Tua, that's almost unfair. Yeah, it'd be so perfect.
I really am interested. I really wish someone would break this story. There's been rumors, but why, like you said, Tom, why the hell is he not at LSU anymore? Coach O is not a guy who should be firing offensive coordinators that other people covet, because Coach O is known for being an offensive, mental midget, to be nice with the kind of offense that he runs there. And so I think it was a bad move by him. Clearly they didn't get along, but that was a big-time hire for Coach O to get Matt Canada to come in there. Only lasted 1 year. Now, he didn't make any huge improvements in their offense by any means, but I think over a 3 or 4 year period, you just saw LSU get to the level that I think that their recruiting demands that they should be with all the talent they bring in there. So if they get it, it's just more of the rich getting richer. You take from maybe one of your biggest rivals in LSU, their offensive coordinator, bring him over to your side. So I think it'd be a great fit.
LSU gave him half of his buyout, which is just about $1.7 million for him to not coach anymore. Crazy.
Yeah.
Insane. All right, guys, let's move on. We got next up Chip Long, current Notre Dame offensive coordinator.
Long would be a great hire because Chip Long, I think, really has emerged as one of the better offensive coordinators in all of college football. Notre Dame this year, or last year I should say, they ended up getting Mike Elko and Chip Long. They brought him in to replace their coordinators, and it really saved Brian Kelly's job. And if Chip Long is just 34 years old, he was the Memphis OC for a year. He's got 2 years as an OC, and look how popular he is. He's going to be a head coach before too long.
Yeah, I mean, his age is impressive, but he's been around, Tommy. Louisville, Arkansas, Illinois, Arizona State, Memphis, kind of like a 2-year stint at every single place, worked his way up. Gosh, if he gets the Alabama offensive coordinator job, I think 2 years from now, Tom, you will be hearing him for whatever major college football job comes open for a head coaching position, whether, I'm trying to project forward in my mind. I really can't do it very well right now, but
LSU,
LSU or Penn State, or not saying that Franklin's going to leave, but maybe somebody leaves and goes to a better job themselves. USC potentially. So I think this is going to be the guy that they get. Everything that's come out in the last 24 hours has said this is the #1 candidate. Saban likes him a lot, and that he's really targeted him. So I think this is going to be the one that they end up going with. And kind of for personal reasons, I'm hoping they take him away. I don't want to see Notre Dame with that kind of offensive coordinator.
Okay, guys. Next up, we got Jim McElwain, former Florida head coach and former offensive coordinator from 2008 to 2011 at Alabama.
I think what we wind up seeing McElwain doing, despite the ties to Saban, is I think he might end up taking a year off of coaching. And he'll take the year off and then go be a head coach somewhere else. I don't know if he wants to be an OC for a year, up and then move again once he gets a head coaching job, because McElwain is going to get another shot somewhere. That is the rule of being a Florida head coach. Once you get fired, you get another shot. Ron Zook, for example.
I still can't. McElwain and then like Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. Like, how do these guys who came in as offensive gurus have such awful quarterback plays 3 years into their tenure? So I don't think McElwain fits what Alabama is doing right now. Could be I'd say he come over as an offensive analyst. Associate head coach is another job that people are throwing out a lot these days. Like, you're not an O coordinator, not D coordinator. You're kind of second in charge though. So I could see him ending up with Alabama, but I doubt it's as the offensive coordinator.
All right, guys. Well, the last candidate on our Alabama offensive coordinator hot board is Mike Locksley, Alabama's current wide receiver coach and co-offensive coordinator.
He was the OC for Illinois for a while, then became the head coach at New Mexico. Didn't go too well. Then went to Maryland, was the OC and the interim coach, and he was the offensive analyst for a year. That the OA position for Alabama that always leads to coordinator jobs somewhere. Now he's at Alabama as the co-OC. He will either get this job or leave to go to FSU. He's not going to stay if he does not get the OC job. Yeah,
it sounds like this time will be the guy that gets it. If maybe, I don't know, if Hugh Freeze, I think Saban, there's got to be something there because he was on campus yesterday. Hugh Freeze was. There's got to be something there, whether it's a analyst position or not. And then you've got Notre Dame's offensive coordinator. If they don't get one of those two guys in Long or Freeze, I bet it's this guy. It's kind of like, okay, we swung for the fences, which I think you should do with making a hire like that, and then we'll stick to our guy Mike Locksley that we know. So I would say the money's got to be on Long or Locksley of the guy who's going to get the job.
All right, you guys, well, let's go ahead and recap real quick the top Alabama candidates for their offensive coordinator position. We've got Rick Neuheisel, Dan Enos, Hugh Freeze, Dan Werner, Matt Canada, Chip Long, Jim McElwain, and Mike Locksley.